Welcome to a journey unlike any other, a journey into the limitless power of the human mind. Today, we're diving into a world of transformation, where your greatest potential is not just a dream, but a reality waiting to be unlocked. Imagine becoming so extraordinary that no one, not even you, can doubt what you're capable of achieving. In this episode, we'll uncover the secrets to developing a superhuman mindset. From harnessing the courage to take the first step to embracing failures as stepping stones, we'll explore practical lessons that can elevate your life. Every point we discuss today is a key to unlocking strength, clarity, and resilience. Stay with us until the end, because what you'll discover could change the way you see yourself forever. And if you're ready to begin this incredible transformation, don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and type "I'm unstoppable" in the comments below. Let's get started. The power of getting started. Have you ever felt stuck, like the dream you've been holding on to is always just out of reach? Maybe it's a project you've been delaying or a goal that feels too big to tackle. Here's the truth. The hardest part isn't doing it. It's starting. That first step holds the power to transform everything. Daniel, an ordinary office worker, knows this feeling all too well. For years, he dreamed of starting a side business crafting handmade wooden furniture, a skill passed down from his father. But every time he thought about it, doubt crept in. What if it's a waste of time? What if I fail? These thoughts became his excuse, and years went by with nothing to show for his dream. One rainy evening, Daniel finally decided to stop thinking and start doing. He went to his garage, picked up an old piece of wood, and built a simple stool. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. That small action sparked a chain of events. Over the weeks, Daniel created more pieces, shared them with friends, and began receiving orders. What once seemed impossible became his new reality, all because he took that first step. Starting isn't just about the action, it's about overcoming fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being good enough. But fear only has power if you let it keep you still. The moment you act, even in a small way, you break fear's grip. You create momentum, and with momentum comes progress. Thomas Edison, the man behind the light bulb, understood this well. He didn't wait for perfect conditions or flawless plans. Instead, he tried, failed, and tried again, thousands of times. Each attempt brought him closer to success. Edison's story teaches us that starting isn't about having all the answers. It's about embracing the process and trusting that clarity will come with action. So, how can you apply this to your life? Start small. Break your dream into tiny, achievable steps. Want to launch a business? Begin with one idea or one phone call. Thinking about a career change? Spend 15 minutes researching options. The size of the step doesn't matter. What matters is taking it. Action fuels confidence, and confidence builds success. Let's return to Daniel's story. That first stool wasn't perfect, but it proved something important. Progress is more valuable than perfection. Each new piece he built taught him something new. Today, Daniel's furniture business is thriving, but it all started with a simple decision to act. His journey shows us that the path to success isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about creating it. Here's your challenge. Identify one thing you've been hesitating to start. Write it down. Now, take one action, no matter how small, to move closer to it. The first step may feel insignificant, but it's the spark that ignites change. Because the truth is, you don't need to see the entire road ahead. You just need to take the first step. Many paths to success. What does success look like to you? Is it fame, wealth, or recognition? Or is it something more personal, like building meaningful relationships, pursuing a passion, or simply living a balanced and fulfilling life? The truth is, success is as unique as the person defining it. There isn't just one road to greatness. There are countless paths, and yours doesn't have to look like anyone else's. Think of Emma, a single mother who once believed her chance at success was long gone. She worked 2 jobs, balancing endless responsibilities while barely making ends meet. For years, she compared herself to others who seemed to have it all together. But one day, she decided to redefine success on her terms. Instead of chasing a traditional career, she started baking during her free hours, a skill she loved but never considered valuable. She began selling her creations to neighbors, then to local cafes. Today, Emma runs a thriving bakery, not because she followed someone else's blueprint, but because she found her own path. Success isn't a one-size-fits-all concept. For some, it's climbing the corporate ladder. For others, it's raising a happy family, creating art, or advocating for a cause. The key is understanding what truly matters to you. Society often tells us that success is about status or wealth, but chasing those measures without personal meaning can leave us feeling empty. True success is deeply personal. It's about aligning your life with your values and passions. History is filled with stories of people who found unconventional paths to success. Consider Steve Jobs, who dropped out of college but went on to revolutionize technology. Or Maya Angelou, who overcame immense challenges to become one of the most celebrated voices in literature. Their stories remind us that success doesn't follow a linear path. It bends, twists, and adapts to the person walking it. But here's the challenge. It takes courage to forge your own way. It's easier to follow the crowd or measure yourself against someone else's standards. Yet, the most fulfilling success comes from staying true to yourself. This means ignoring the noise, whether it's societal pressure, family expectations, or self-doubt, and focusing on what genuinely resonates with you. Imagine walking through a dense forest. There's no clear trail, only scattered paths leading in different directions. You could follow the well-trodden route, the one everyone else seems to take. But what if the path meant for you is hidden, waiting to be discovered? It might take longer to find, and it might be harder to walk, but it will lead you to a destination that's uniquely yours. Let's revisit Emma's story. When she started baking, she didn't have a detailed business plan or a guarantee of success. What she had was a deep love for her craft and a willingness to start small. Each step she took brought her closer to a life that felt authentic. Today, she's not only financially stable, but deeply fulfilled because her work aligns with her passions and values. So how do you discover your path? Start by asking yourself these questions. What truly excites me? What impact do I want to make? What does a meaningful life look like to me? Write down your answers and don't filter them to fit anyone else's expectations. Once you're clear on what matters, take action, no matter how unconventional it seems. Every step you take on your unique path is a victory in itself. Here's the beauty of forging your own path. It inspires others to do the same. When you live authentically, you give others permission to question their own definitions of success and pursue what truly matters to them. Emma's bakery didn't just change her life. It inspired her children and her community to see the value in following their passions. Today, I challenge you to embrace your individuality. Let go of the need to compare or conform. Instead, Focus on uncovering what success means to you. Remember, the most meaningful journeys aren't the ones with the easiest roads. They're the ones that lead you to where you truly belong. Bless yourself to give and receive. Imagine this. Every time you try to help someone or achieve something, a little voice in your mind whispers, "You're not good enough. You don't deserve this." That voice is more common than you think, and it's one of the biggest barriers to both giving and receiving in life. But here's the truth. The ability to give to others and accept what life offers begins with blessing yourself, acknowledging your worth, and embracing the abundance already within you. Take Jake, for instance. Jake worked tirelessly as a teacher, pouring his heart into helping his students succeed. But when it came to accepting praise or even asking for help when he needed it, he always felt uncomfortable. "I should be able to handle this on my own," he thought. Over time, this mindset left him drained and struggling to find balance. One day, a close friend asked him, "Why is it so hard for you to see the value you bring to others?" That question changed everything. Jake realized that he couldn't fully give to others until he learned to honor himself first. Blessing yourself starts with recognizing your inherent value. It's about looking in the mirror and saying, "I am enough. I have something valuable to offer the world." This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. When you see your worth clearly, you're able to give freely without feeling depleted, and you become open to receiving what others have to offer without guilt or hesitation. Here's why this matters. Many of us carry stories from the past that tell us we're not good enough. These stories might come from childhood experiences, societal pressures, or even our own harsh self-judgments. They become barriers, keeping us from fully stepping into our potential. But those stories aren't facts. They're narratives you have the power to rewrite. The process of blessing yourself isn't complicated, but it does require intention. Start small. Each morning, take a moment to affirm your worth. Say things like, "I deserve happiness. I deserve to succeed. My contributions matter." At first, it might feel strange, even uncomfortable, but over time, these affirmations begin to shift the way you see yourself. They act like seeds, growing into a mindset of abundance and self-compassion. Let's consider the act of giving. Many people give from a place of obligation or fear of judgment, which can lead to burnout and resentment. But giving from a place of abundance, when you truly believe in your own worth, feels entirely different. It's joyful, fulfilling, and energizing. Think about Jake. After embracing his own value, he began to give to his students in a more meaningful way, offering not just lessons, but encouragement and inspiration. His newfound confidence allowed him to be more present, and his students thrived because of it. Receiving is equally important, yet many of us struggle with it. Have you ever turned down a compliment or hesitated to accept help because you didn't want to seem needy? This resistance often stems from the same place as our difficulty with self-blessing, a feeling that we're not deserving. But the truth is, life is a cycle of giving and receiving. When you allow yourself to receive, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're honoring the giver and completing the cycle of connection. Imagine a world where everyone fully embraced their worth. People would give with open hearts and receive with gratitude, creating a ripple effect of positivity and abundance. This isn't just a dream. It's something you can start cultivating in your own life today. Here's how. Take one small action to bless yourself. Maybe it's writing down 3 things you're proud of. Maybe it's treating yourself with kindness after a mistake instead of criticism. Once you start building that foundation of self-respect, you'll notice how much easier it becomes to give and receive freely. Jake's story didn't end with his realization about self-worth. Over the years, he became known not just as a great teacher, but as a mentor who inspired others to see the best in themselves. His ability to bless himself allowed him to create a lasting impact, one that continues to ripple through his community. So, ask yourself, what story are you telling about your own worth? If it's holding you back, rewrite it. Bless yourself with the recognition you deserve, and watch how it transforms your ability to give, receive, and thrive. Imagine, think, and act as if. What if you could step into the life you've always dreamed of, not tomorrow, not someday, but today? The secret lies in a simple yet profound mindset. Act as if. This isn't about pretending or faking it. It's about aligning your thoughts, actions, and beliefs with the reality you want to create. When you start to think, feel, and act as though your goals are already achieved, you unlock a powerful energy that propels you forward. Let's start with a story. Hannah was a young woman working an entry-level job in marketing. She dreamed of becoming a creative director, but felt light years away from that goal. Instead of focusing on how far she had to go, she decided to act as if she already held that position. She studied top creatives, dressed the part, volunteered for challenging projects, and carried herself with the confidence of someone already in the role. Over time, her mindset and actions didn't just make her look like a creative director, they helped her become one. Within 3 years, she was promoted to her dream job. This principle isn't just motivational, it's rooted in psychology. Visualization, for example, is a tool used by athletes, performers, and leaders worldwide. By vividly imagining a future outcome, they prime their minds to believe it's possible. Neuroscientists have found that when you visualize success, your brain creates neural patterns similar to those formed during the actual experience. In other words, your brain begins to act as if the success is already real. But visualization alone isn't enough. To fully embrace the as-if mindset, you must combine imagination with action. Think of it as building a bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Each step you take across that bridge reinforces the belief that your goal is attainable. Here's how it works. Imagine your ideal future in detail. What does it look like? What does it feel like? How do you carry yourself? Next, identify small actions you can take today that align with that vision. If you dream of running a marathon, start by lacing up your sneakers and walking a mile. If you want to be a leader, begin by speaking up in meetings or mentoring a colleague. These actions might seem small, but they send a powerful signal to your subconscious. I am becoming the person I want to be. The as-if mindset also transforms the way you handle challenges. Instead of reacting with fear or doubt, you start to think like the version of yourself who has already overcome them. Imagine a student preparing for a tough exam. Instead of stressing over the material, they visualize themselves as a confident, well-prepared test taker. This shift in perspective doesn't erase the challenge, but it changes their approach, replacing anxiety with focus and determination. Let's take it a step further. Acting as if isn't just about personal growth. It's about influencing how others perceive and respond to you. Think about Hannah again. By embodying the qualities of a creative director, she gained the respect and trust of her peers and supervisors. People began to see her as a leader before she officially became one. This is the power of alignment. When your thoughts, actions, and beliefs match your goals, the world starts to respond in kind. Some people might dismiss this concept as wishful thinking, But it's far more than that. It's about creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. When you act as if something is possible, you take steps that make it real. And as you accumulate small victories, your belief in yourself grows, creating a cycle of success. Here's your challenge. Choose one area of your life where you've been holding back. Maybe it's a dream you've been too afraid to pursue, or a role you feel unqualified for. Now, ask yourself, what would the future version of me do? Write down 3 actions that align with that vision and commit to taking at least one of them this week. The goal isn't to fake it, but to step into your potential, one intentional choice at a time. Hannah's journey shows us that the as-if mindset isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about becoming who you were meant to be. The future you're dreaming of is closer than you think. All it takes is the courage to imagine it, think it, and act it into existence. Smile with your eyes and heart. A smile is often seen as a simple gesture, but its power runs deeper than most of us realize. A genuine smile doesn't just brighten someone else's day. It transforms the way people perceive you and how you feel about yourself. The key lies in smiling not just with your face, but with your eyes and your heart. Let's look at John, a sales associate who struggled to connect with customers. Despite his polite demeanor, he often felt invisible in a crowded room. One day, a mentor gave him a piece of advice. Smile with your eyes, not just your lips. Let people feel your warmth. At first, John didn't understand what this meant, but he decided to give it a try. Instead of forcing a superficial grin, he focused on his intentions, on genuinely wanting to connect. To his surprise, something shifted. Customers began engaging with him more openly, and his confidence grew. That simple, heartfelt smile became his superpower. Smiling with your eyes and heart isn't about faking happiness. It's about aligning your inner emotions with your outward expressions. Think of the last time someone gave you a truly warm smile. You likely felt seen, appreciated, and even uplifted. That's the energy you're capable of radiating when your smile comes from a place of authenticity. Science backs this up. Studies show that smiling, even when you don't feel like it, can trigger the release of endorphins, the brain's natural feel-good chemicals. A genuine smile, one that engages the muscles around your eyes, amplifies this effect, reducing stress and boosting both your mood and that of those around you. It's not just an act, it's a physiological shift. But how do you cultivate a smile that resonates deeply? It starts with intention. Before stepping into a conversation or entering a room, take a moment to center yourself. Think about the kind of energy you want to bring. Focus on your breath, relax your face, and imagine sending warmth and kindness through your gaze. This practice helps you approach interactions with presence and sincerity. Now, consider the impact of a heartfelt smile on others. In a world that often feels disconnected, your ability to convey genuine care through something as simple as a smile can bridge gaps and create moments of connection. It's a universal language, understood across cultures and backgrounds. Even strangers can feel its power. Let's revisit John's story. His newfound confidence didn't just boost his sales, it transformed his relationships with colleagues and friends. People began gravitating toward him, drawn by his warmth and authenticity. Over time, that smile became a reflection of his inner growth, a symbol of how much he valued the people around him. Here's a thought experiment. The next time you interact with someone, whether it's a cashier, a co-worker, or a loved one, try smiling with your entire being. Let your eyes soften, your heart open, and your intention shine through. Notice how the interaction changes, how the other person's energy shifts. You'll find that this small act has a ripple effect, spreading positivity in ways you can't predict. Smiling with your eyes and heart isn't just about making others feel good. It's about transforming how you see yourself. When you practice this kind of presence, you cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-assurance. Over time, this radiance becomes part of who you are, drawing opportunities and connections your way. Here's your challenge. For the next week, make a conscious effort to smile with intention. Whether you're in a meeting, on a phone call, or simply passing someone on the street, let your smile come from a place of genuine warmth. Watch how people respond, not just with their words, but with their own expressions and energy. John's journey reminds us that the most powerful transformations often start small. A sincere smile can open doors, change perceptions, and even alter the course of a conversation. So, what are you waiting for? Let your eyes and heart do the smiling, and see how the world smiles back. Generate inner glow and radiate outer light. Have you ever walked into a room and felt an immediate shift because of someone's presence? Some people have an inner glow, a quiet confidence and warmth that draws others toward them. This glow isn't about physical appearance or charisma. It comes from within. And here's the secret: you can cultivate it. Let's consider Mia, a nurse working long shifts in a busy hospital. Despite the stress and exhaustion, her patients and colleagues always described her as a light in the room. What was her secret? Mia had a simple practice. She prioritized nurturing her inner peace. Every morning before work, she would spend 10 minutes meditating, visualizing herself radiating kindness and positivity. No matter how chaotic her day became, that inner calm stayed with her, influencing everyone around her. The concept of generating inner glow starts with self-awareness. It's about recognizing that your energy affects not only yourself, but also the people and environments you interact with. When you take time to nurture your inner world through mindfulness, self-care, or even moments of gratitude, you begin to emit a presence that others can't help but notice. Science offers an explanation for this phenomenon. Research on emotional contagion shows that humans naturally mirror the emotions of those around them. When you radiate positivity and calm, it creates a ripple effect, influencing the moods and behaviors of others. Your inner state becomes a silent yet powerful form of communication. So, how can you cultivate this inner glow? Start with small, intentional practices that align your mind, body, and spirit. For example, spend a few minutes each day reflecting on what brings you joy or purpose. Practice deep breathing to center yourself during stressful moments. Surround yourself with environments and people that uplift you. These small acts, done consistently, build an inner reservoir of positivity. But the glow isn't just for you, it's meant to be shared. Think about a time when someone's kind word or thoughtful gesture brightened your day. That's the essence of radiating outer light, using your energy to uplift others. Mia, for instance, made it a point to smile warmly at every patient, listen intently to their concerns, and offer words of encouragement. Her glow wasn't just about how she felt, it was about the impact she had on others. Now, let's address a common misconception. Radiating positivity doesn't mean ignoring your struggles or pretending everything is perfect. In fact, authenticity is key. People are drawn to genuine energy, not forced optimism. Embracing your imperfections and showing vulnerability can make your light even more relatable and impactful. Here's a practical exercise to try. Each morning, stand in front of a mirror and take a few deep breaths. As you exhale, visualize stress and negativity leaving your body. As you inhale, imagine light and warmth filling your chest, radiating outward. This simple practice can shift your mindset and set the tone for your day. The beauty of cultivating inner glow is that it's a cycle. The more you nurture yourself, the more you can give to others. And the more you give, the stronger your glow becomes. It's like a fire that grows brighter with every act of kindness, every moment of self-care, and every intentional choice to embrace positivity. Mia's story reminds us that the glow you cultivate inside isn't just for you, it's a gift to the world. Her patients often said they felt calmer and more hopeful after interacting with her. That's the power of inner light. It creates connections, eases burdens, and leaves a lasting impression. Here's your challenge. For the next week, focus on one practice that nurtures your inner glow. Maybe it's journaling, taking a walk in nature, or simply setting aside time to breathe deeply. Notice how these small acts affect your energy and how others respond to you. Remember, your light has the power to brighten not only your path, but also the lives of those around you. Because in a world that often feels dim, your glow matters. It has the potential to inspire, connect, and transform, one interaction at a time. Fulfill others' subconscious needs. Have you ever met someone who instantly made you feel at ease? Someone who seemed to understand you on a deeper level without saying much? These individuals possess a rare skill. They intuitively fulfill the subconscious needs of others. It's not manipulation, it's a profound form of empathy that builds trust, strengthens connections, and leaves a lasting impression. Consider Mark, a team leader at a fast-growing startup. His team described him as someone who just gets people. When deadlines piled up and stress ran high, Mark knew how to diffuse tension and keep his team motivated. How? He focused on understanding what each person needed, often before they even realized it themselves. For one teammate, it was recognition for their hard work. For another, it was reassurance during moments of self-doubt. By addressing these unspoken needs, Mark created a team that felt valued and inspired even in challenging times. Fulfilling others' subconscious needs starts with observation. People constantly communicate their emotions, desires, and fears through subtle cues, tone of voice, body language, or even what they don't say. By paying attention to these signals, you can understand what someone truly values or struggles with. Psychologists often refer to Maslow's hierarchy of needs as a framework for understanding human motivation. At the core, we all crave security, belonging, and recognition. When you acknowledge and address these needs, you create an environment where people feel understood and supported. This isn't about grand gestures. Often, small actions, like a kind word, a genuine compliment, or simply listening attentively, are enough to make a difference. Let's explore how this works in practice. Imagine you're in a conversation with a friend who's venting about their work. On the surface, they might be talking about deadlines, but if you listen closely, you might notice they're really seeking reassurance about their abilities. Instead of offering generic advice, you could say something like, "I've seen how dedicated and skilled you are. You've handled tougher challenges before, and I know you'll navigate this too." That kind of response fulfills a deeper need, making your words far more impactful. But why does this matter? Because when people feel their unspoken needs are understood, they form stronger bonds. Trust deepens, and relationships flourish. Whether it's in personal relationships, professional settings, or even casual interactions, this skill sets you apart. Mark's story is a great example of this. His ability to fulfill subconscious needs didn't just make him a great leader, it made him a person his team could rely on. Over time, this trust led to higher performance, better collaboration, and a workplace culture where people thrived. Here's the key. Fulfilling others' subconscious needs isn't about being overly accommodating or losing sight of your own boundaries. It's about creating a balance, giving when you can while staying authentic and true to yourself. The goal is to connect, not to overextend. So, how can you develop this skill? Start with active listening. When someone speaks, don't just hear their words. Pay attention to their tone, expressions, and pauses. Ask thoughtful questions to uncover what they're truly feeling. Practice empathy by putting yourself in their shoes. And most importantly, respond in a way that shows you understand, whether it's through words, actions, or simply being present. Here's a challenge for you. In your next interaction, try to identify one unspoken need. Maybe it's a coworker who seems overwhelmed or a family member who's unusually quiet. Offer support in a way that acknowledges what they might be feeling, even if they don't say it outright. Notice how they respond and how it deepens your connection. Fulfilling subconscious needs isn't just a way to strengthen relationships. It's a way to become someone others trust and respect on a profound level. Like Mark, you'll find that this skill doesn't just benefit others. It transforms the way you navigate the world, creating opportunities for deeper connections and meaningful growth. Because at the end of the day, understanding others isn't about words. It's about presence, empathy, and the willingness to truly see the people around you. Get better or worse every day. Imagine waking up every morning and realizing that every choice you make, no matter how small, is pushing you in one of two directions, forward or backward. There's no standing still. You're either getting better or worse, growing stronger or letting opportunities slip by. It's a sobering thought, but it's also empowering. Why? Because it means you have the power to decide the trajectory of your life every single day. Take Sam, for example. Sam wasn't extraordinary by any means, just an ordinary guy with a regular job. For years he'd tell himself, "I'll start improving tomorrow." Whether it was exercising, learning a new skill, or building better habits, tomorrow was always the plan. But tomorrow rarely came. One day, a friend gave him a simple piece of advice. Do something today that your future self will thank you for. That idea stuck with Sam. He decided to start small. Each day, he committed to one tiny action, reading 10 pages, taking a brisk walk, or practicing a skill for just 5 minutes. Over time, those small actions compounded into significant change. The principle here is simple but profound. Improvement happens daily, not in bursts. We often wait for motivation or some dramatic life event to inspire us to change. But real growth comes from the mundane, consistent effort we put in every day. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. On the flip side, neglecting small daily choices can lead to stagnation, or worse, regression. Think about it. Skipping one workout doesn't seem like a big deal, but over weeks or months, it adds up. Avoiding hard conversations, procrastinating on goals, or letting negative habits creep in all take a toll over time. Just as positive habits compound, so do negative ones. Psychologist James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, explains this concept with a powerful analogy. Imagine a plane making a slight adjustment to its course. At first, the change is barely noticeable, but over hundreds of miles, it can end up in a completely different destination. Your daily habits work the same way. The The small choices you make today might seem insignificant, but they're shaping the future version of you. So, how do you make sure you're on the path to getting better every day? Start by evaluating your current habits. Ask yourself, are my daily actions aligned with the person I want to become? If the answer is no, identify one habit you can adjust. It doesn't have to be a massive overhaul. Even a small tweak, like drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning or spending 5 minutes journaling, can set a positive tone for your day. Let's revisit Sam. When he started, his actions seemed almost too small to matter, but he didn't focus on the immediate results. He focused on building the habit. Over a year, those daily improvements added up. He was fitter, more knowledgeable, and more confident, not because of one big effort, but because of countless tiny ones. What's more, the act of improving daily created momentum, making it easier for him to tackle bigger challenges over time. It's also important to remember that setbacks are part of the process. You won't get better every single day, and that's okay. What matters is the overall trend. If you slip, get back on track the next day. Improvement isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Here's a challenge for you. Pick one habit you'd like to build, or one area of your life you want to improve. Break it down into the smallest possible action you can take today. Then commit to doing it. Not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Write it down, set a reminder, and follow through. And as you continue, track your progress. You'll be amazed at how quickly small efforts compound. The idea that you're either getting better or worse each day might feel daunting, but it's also liberating. It puts the power in your hands. You don't need to make massive leaps or dramatic changes. You just need to take one step forward every single day, because at the end of the day, the person you become tomorrow is shaped by the actions you take today. So, ask yourself, which direction am I moving in? Become so amazing that people cannot doubt you. What if you could walk into any room and immediately command respect, not through words or status, but through your presence, your actions, and the undeniable proof of your abilities? Becoming so amazing that no one can doubt you isn't about perfection. It's about relentless growth, unwavering confidence, and the courage to back your words with action. Take David, for example. David started as an entry-level employee in a large corporation. He was ambitious, but constantly overlooked because he blended into the background. Instead of blaming circumstances or waiting for recognition, he made a decision. I will make my work so exceptional that no one can ignore me. David began by mastering his role. He arrived early, stayed late, and found creative solutions to problems no one else noticed. Over time, his dedication and results spoke louder than any self-promotion ever could. Within a few years, he wasn't just part of the team, he was leading it. David's story isn't unique. The path to becoming undeniable starts with a mindset. Focus on what you can control and excel at it. Whether it's your career, relationships, or personal goals, aim to exceed expectations, not for external validation, but because it reflects your values and drive. So, what does it mean to become amazing? It's not about being better than others. It's about being the best version of yourself. This journey begins with self-mastery. Identify your strengths and weaknesses with brutal honesty. Ask yourself, what am I naturally good at? Where do I need to grow? Then, commit to improving in small, consistent steps. Excellence isn't achieved overnight. It's built through deliberate effort. One of the most powerful tools in this process is feedback. Seek it often, even when it's uncomfortable. Honest feedback is like a mirror. It shows you what others see, highlighting areas for growth. The most amazing individuals are those who welcome critique and use it to refine their craft. But skills alone won't make you extraordinary. Attitude plays an equally vital role. Confidence is magnetic, but it must be paired with humility. People respect those who believe in themselves, but also recognize their limitations and credit others for their contributions. This balance creates authenticity, making you both admirable and approachable. Think of someone you deeply admire. Chances are their greatness isn't just about what they've achieved, but how they carry themselves. Perhaps they're calm under pressure, genuinely kind, or have an infectious enthusiasm for what they do. These intangible qualities are what make people unforgettable. To cultivate them, focus on your mindset, practice gratitude, maintain curiosity, and approach challenges with resilience. Let's revisit David's story. His rise to leadership wasn't just about hard work. It was about the way he inspired others. His team respected him because he led by example, stayed calm during crises, and celebrated collective wins. His ability to uplift those around him amplified his impact, proving that true greatness isn't just about individual success. It's about creating value for others. Here's the key. Becoming so amazing that people cannot doubt you doesn't mean you'll never face criticism or skepticism. In fact, the more you grow, the more challenges you'll encounter. But when your actions consistently align with your words and your results speak for themselves, doubt becomes irrelevant. Critics may question your methods, but they cannot deny your impact. Here's your challenge. Pick one area of your life where you feel unseen or underestimated. Identify one action you can take today to start changing that. It might be improving a specific skill, delivering exceptional results on a project, or simply showing up with greater confidence and enthusiasm. Keep building on this effort, day by day, until your progress becomes undeniable. Remember, becoming amazing isn't about waiting for the world to notice you. It's about making yourself so remarkable that the world has no choice but to pay attention. Your greatness is already within you. It's up to you to bring it to life. Because when you reach the point where your actions and results speak louder than words, doubt doesn't just fade away, it becomes irrelevant. Fail your way to success. What if I told you that failure isn't the end of the road, but the very foundation of success? It sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Yet, history and personal experience repeatedly prove this truth. The most remarkable achievements are built on a mountain of failures. Consider the story of Michael, a tech entrepreneur. Michael's first startup idea seemed brilliant on paper, but within a year, it failed miserably. Investors pulled out, and he was left with debt and disappointment. Many would have given up, but Michael didn't. He analyzed what went wrong, learned from his mistakes, and launched a second venture. This one did slightly better, but still didn't take off. Instead of quitting, Michael treated every failure as a step closer to his breakthrough. By the time he launched his third startup, he had refined his skills, learned how to navigate challenges, and created a product that revolutionized its industry. Today, Michael is a celebrated entrepreneur, but he credits his success not to his victories, but to the lessons learned from failure. Failure isn't something to fear, it's a teacher, a mirror reflecting what didn't work and what could be improved. It's not failure itself that defines you, it's how you respond to it. Do you give up, or do you rise again, armed with new knowledge and determination? The fear of failure often paralyzes us, keeping us from taking risks or pursuing our dreams. But here's the thing, avoiding failure is avoiding growth. Every setback, every stumble is an opportunity to learn something invaluable. The key is to shift your perspective. See failure not as a verdict, but as feedback. Let's take a step back and look at some of the most successful individuals in history. Thomas Edison famously failed thousands of times before inventing the light bulb. When asked about his failures, he said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each attempt brought him closer to success because he didn't view failure as final. He saw it as part of the process. The same principle applies to everyday life. Imagine you're learning a new skill, like playing the guitar. The first time you strum, it sounds terrible. Your fingers feel clumsy, and it seems impossible to create music. But with every mistake, your fingers learn where to go. Each incorrect note teaches you something until, eventually, you play with confidence and grace. The process is messy, but it works. Here's the important part. Failing your way to success isn't about reckless action. It's about calculated risks and learning from each experience. After each failure, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? What did I learn that can help me next time? This mindset transforms failure from a source of shame into a tool for growth. Instead of avoiding it, you begin to embrace it, knowing it's a necessary step on the path to your goals. But let's be honest, failure hurts. It can bruise your ego and shake your confidence. That's why resilience is essential. Building resilience doesn't mean ignoring the pain of failure. It means acknowledging it, processing it, and then choosing to move forward. Surround yourself with people who support you, practice self-compassion, and remind yourself that every great achievement comes with setbacks. Think of failure as a staircase. Each step may feel uncomfortable, even painful, but it's bringing you closer to your destination. The more you climb, the stronger you become, until eventually you reach heights you never thought possible. Here's your challenge. Identify a recent failure, no matter how big or small. Reflect on what it taught you, write it down, and then commit to taking one action that incorporates what you've learned. This could be revising a plan, trying a new approach, or simply giving yourself permission to try again. Michael's story, Edison's persistence, and even your own past experiences prove one thing. Failure isn't something to avoid, it's something to embrace. Because every stumble teaches you how to walk, every fall teaches you how to stand taller, and every failure brings you one step closer to success. So, fail boldly, fail often, and fail forward. Because the only true failure is never trying at all. The power of humility to conquer fear and worry. Humility is often misunderstood. Some see it as weakness or self-doubt, but true humility is one of the greatest strengths you can possess. It's not about thinking less of yourself. It's about recognizing your place in the larger picture, embracing your flaws, and using that perspective to conquer fear and worry. Take Claire, for example. Claire was a project manager who constantly battled self-doubt. She worried about making mistakes, about how her team perceived her, and whether she was good enough to lead. Her anxiety often led her to overcompensate, micromanaging, and trying to prove she had all the answers. One day, after a particularly tense meeting, a mentor pulled her aside and said, "The best leaders aren't those who know everything. They're the ones who know how to listen, learn, and grow." That advice changed Claire's approach entirely. She began to practice humility, admitting when she didn't know something and asking her team for input. Instead of worrying about appearing perfect, she focused on building trust and collaboration. Over time, her fear faded, replaced by confidence born from authenticity and mutual respect. Humility shifts your mindset in powerful ways. When you let go of the need to be perfect or in control, you free yourself from the fear of failure and judgment. You stop seeing challenges as threats to your identity and start viewing them as opportunities to learn and grow. This perspective not only eases worry, but also allows you to approach life with curiosity and resilience. Consider some of history's most admired figures, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, or Maya Angelou. Their humility wasn't a weakness, it was a source of their strength. They acknowledged their limitations, but remained steadfast in their purpose. This balance allowed them to connect deeply with others, inspire change, and face challenges with grace. But how does humility help you conquer fear? Fear often stems from an inflated sense of ego, the idea that you must succeed at all costs, that failure would be catastrophic, or that others are constantly judging you. Humility quiets that ego. It reminds you that mistakes are human, that everyone struggles, and that perfection is neither possible nor necessary. With humility, fear loses its grip. Here's an analogy. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks, each one representing a worry or fear. Humility allows you to open the backpack, examine each rock, and decide which ones you need to carry and which you can let go of. It lightens your load, making the journey ahead feel less daunting. Humility also fosters stronger relationships, which are essential for overcoming fear and worry. When you're humble, you're more open to asking for help, learning from others, and building connections based on trust rather than competition. This network of support becomes a safety net, reminding you that you don't have to face challenges alone. Claire's story is a testament to this. By embracing humility, she transformed her leadership style, creating a team environment where people felt valued and heard. Her openness to feedback and willingness to admit mistakes didn't make her weak. It made her a leader others wanted to follow. And in the process, her own fear and worry diminished. So, how can you cultivate humility in your own life? Start by acknowledging your limitations. Reflect on areas where you could grow, and don't be afraid to ask for help or advice. Practice active listening. Focus on understanding others rather than planning your response. And most importantly, remind yourself that you're a work in progress, just like everyone else. Here's your challenge. The next time you're faced with a fear or worry, take a moment to ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? Then ask, what can I learn if it does? This shift in perspective helps you see challenges not as threats, but as opportunities for growth. True humility isn't about shrinking yourself. It's about seeing yourself clearly and using that clarity to grow stronger. It's about quieting your fears, connecting with others, and stepping forward with courage and grace. Because when you embrace humility, you don't just conquer fear, you transform it into fuel for your growth. The impact of daily compounding effort. Imagine planting a tiny seed in the ground. At first, it seems like nothing is happening. Days, even weeks go by without visible results. But beneath the surface, roots are forming, and with consistent care, watering, sunlight, patience, eventually that seed grows into a towering tree. This is the power of compounding effort, small, daily actions that lead to extraordinary results over time. Consider Liam, a junior software developer with big dreams of becoming a lead engineer. Early in his career, he decided to dedicate just 1 hour a day to learning new coding languages and solving advanced problems. 1 hour didn't seem like much, but he stuck with it, even on busy days. Over the years, that single hour added up. Over 1,000 hours of focused effort. By the time an opportunity for promotion came, Liam's skills and confidence were leagues ahead of his peers. What looked like overnight success to others was really the result of consistent compounding effort. The principle of daily compounding is simple yet profound. Small actions, repeated consistently, create exponential growth. This applies to every area of life: your career, health, relationships, and personal development. It's not about making massive changes all at once. It's about showing up every day and letting those small efforts build over time. One of the most powerful examples of compounding effort comes from the world of finance. Imagine saving $5 a day and investing it with a modest annual return. Over a year, it might not seem like much, but over 20 or 30 years, that daily habit can grow into a significant amount of wealth. The same principle applies to personal growth. It's the consistency, not the size of the action, that drives long-term success. But why does compounding effort work so effectively? Because consistency builds momentum, and momentum creates progress. When you commit to small, manageable actions, you eliminate the overwhelm that often comes with big goals. You also create habits that become second nature, making progress feel effortless over time. Let's talk about the flip side, the cost of neglecting compounding effort. Just as small positive actions add up, so do small negative ones. Skipping workouts, procrastinating on tasks, or neglecting relationships may seem harmless in the moment, but over time, these choices accumulate. They lead to missed opportunities, weakened connections, and unfulfilled potential. The same compounding principle applies. It's just working against you instead of for you. So, how can you harness the power of compounding effort in your life? Start by identifying one area where you want to see growth. Maybe it's your health, your skills, or your relationships. Then, break it down into the smallest possible action you can take daily. For example, commit to walking for 10 minutes, reading one page of a book, or reaching out to a loved one with a kind message. It might seem insignificant at first, but over time, those small actions create a ripple effect. The key is consistency. Think of it like brushing your teeth. You don't brush once and expect perfect dental health forever. You do it daily, even when you're tired or busy, because you know the long-term benefits far outweigh the effort. Treat your goals the same way. Show up every day, no matter how small the action, and trust the process. Liam's story reminds us that compounding effort doesn't feel dramatic in the moment. It feels ordinary. But those ordinary moments add up to extraordinary results. By focusing on consistent, daily effort, he transformed his career and achieved goals that once felt out of reach. Here's your challenge. Choose one habit you can commit to daily, starting today. It doesn't have to be big or time-consuming, just something meaningful and manageable. Track your progress for a week, then a month. As you watch those small actions accumulate, you'll see the incredible power of compounding effort in your own life. Because in the end, success isn't built in a day, it's built daily. The seeds you plant today, however small, will grow into the achievements of tomorrow. So, what will you start planting? Unleashing the superhuman potential within. What if you discovered that the greatest untapped power in your life wasn't in your circumstances or resources, but in you? The potential to become extraordinary, to achieve, inspire, and transform isn't something you have to search for outside yourself. It's already within you, waiting to be unlocked. Let's meet Alex, a regular person juggling work, family, and personal struggles. For most of his life, Alex believed he was average. He didn't see himself as particularly talented or unique. One day, while listening to a podcast about human potential, he heard a phrase that changed everything. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is just a little extra effort repeated every day. Those words lit a spark in him. Alex began experimenting with small changes, waking up earlier, setting clear goals, and pushing himself just a bit further than he thought he could. Over time, those small efforts compounded, and Alex achieved milestones he never imagined possible. Unleashing your superhuman potential isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming the fullest version of yourself. It starts with belief. Many people hold themselves back because they don't believe they're capable of more. They let self-doubt, fear, or past failures define their limits. But the truth is, your potential is limitless. The only boundaries are the ones you accept. Science supports this idea. Psychologists have found that a growth mindset, the belief that abilities can be developed through effort, leads to higher achievement and resilience. When you believe you can grow, you're more likely to take risks, embrace challenges, and persist through setbacks. This mindset isn't about being fearless. It's about facing fears head-on and using them as fuel for growth. One way to unlock your potential is by setting bold, clear goals. Think about what excites you, what scares you, and what feels just out of reach. Write it down. Then, break it into smaller steps. Achieving a massive goal can feel overwhelming, but focusing on the next actionable step makes it manageable. Each small win builds momentum, reinforcing your belief in what's possible. Another critical factor is discipline. Superhuman potential isn't unleashed in bursts of motivation. It's built through consistency. Take Serena Williams, for example. Her extraordinary tennis career wasn't just the result of talent. It was the product of relentless practice, day after day, year after year. Discipline isn't glamorous, but it's the foundation of greatness. But there's another piece of the puzzle: purpose. To truly unlock your potential, you need to connect with something bigger than yourself. What drives you? What impact do you want to make? When your efforts align with your purpose, your energy and focus multiply. Purpose gives you a reason to push through obstacles and strive for more. Alex's transformation didn't happen overnight. There were moments of doubt, setbacks, and days when he wanted to quit. But he kept going because he tapped into something deeper, a belief in his own potential and a desire to create a better future. Today, Alex is no longer average. He's a role model in his community, proof that extraordinary isn't about where you start, but how you choose to grow. Here's your challenge. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. What's one area where you've been holding back? Maybe it's a dream you've shelved, a fear you've avoided, or a habit you've neglected to build. Write it down, then commit to one action, just one, that moves you closer to unleashing your potential. The step doesn't have to be dramatic. It just has to be real. The journey to becoming extraordinary begins with a single decision: to believe in yourself. From there, it's about showing up, pushing limits, and staying connected to your purpose. Remember, the power to become superhuman isn't in some far-off future. It's already within you, waiting to be unleashed. Because the only thing standing between you and your potential is the choice to start. Every moment of your life holds the potential for transformation. Through small steps, consistent effort, and a belief in your ability to grow, you can shape your future in ways that may seem impossible today. The journey to becoming extraordinary isn't about luck or perfection. It's about choices. Choices to start when it's hard, to keep going when it's easier to stop, and to believe in yourself even when doubt creeps in. In this episode, we've explored the keys to unlocking your superhuman potential, from the courage to take the first step to the humility that conquers fear, the power of compounding effort, and the ability to radiate your inner light. These aren't just ideas. They're tools you can use every day to rewrite your story. Remember, greatness isn't reserved for the lucky few. It's built by ordinary people, people like you, who choose to act, grow, and persist. Your potential isn't something you find. It's something you create, step by step, decision by decision. So, what will you do with the tools you've gained today? What small action can you take right now to move closer to the life you've imagined? Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it. Because the power to become so amazing that no one can doubt you is already within you, waiting for your permission to rise. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found value in this episode, make sure to subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and type "I'm ready" in the comments below. Until next time, remember, the path to greatness begins with believing in the potential you already have.